The people that we picture as walking off into the desert to escape Mesopotamian cities, these were almost never solo philosophers on a freedom quest. These were shepherds and caravan drovers and marsh dwellers. All of these were tribal populations whose yearly orbit took them in and out of the irrigated plains. A Sumerian merchant could relocate from Ur to Nippur without just totally tearing up his cultural passport. He still spoke the same language, swore by the same city god, paid the same silver tariffs. What he could no longer do was declare, I no longer recognize kings or taxes or harvest calendars. Or at least he couldn't do that and expect to survive. Every community, nomadic or urban, carried a full moral toolkit with kin obligations and ancestral taboos and divine courts. And if you step outside that lattice, you're not really free. You're free by some conceptions, but really, you're just gonna die. You have no pasture rights, you have no marriageable kin, you have no supernatural protection. And our written evidence is equally blunt here. We possess tens of thousands of tablets with ledgers and hymns and legal verdicts and school exercises and even tavern songs. Nowhere does an official pause to grumble that certain malcontents are preaching a new social order. Nowhere does a priest lament dropouts who refuse field service. And in fact, we know these things exist because we see them in the Roman times, and of course the Romans have a less tradition-bound, more modernist sense of the world than the ancient Mesopotamians do. Contrast all that with Neo-Assyrian annals that gleefully tally the rebels they've flayed alive. Kings loved advertising sedition that they'd crushed. Silence in this case really does seem to be silence. Individuals surely walked away, but they walked alone, and their critiques, if they voiced them, died with their campfire smoke. So the fantasy of the ancient hermit that it turns out to be sort of a modern back projection onto history. We assume that someone must have wanted our own prized commodity, our personal autonomy, because we can't imagine living without it. We're so immersed in our own modernist culture that we're often blinded to how arbitrary and consistent and contingent a lot of our most sacred ideals actually are.